Hello, everybody who's watching at home on our church Facebook page. Hello to you. Good evening. I hope that you're having a really pleasant Sunday, whatever you're doing, and that you're enjoying as much as you can your bank holiday, your long weekend. So it's my very great pleasure to welcome you to our service this evening to the Light Christian Spiritualist Church. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Ashley, and I'm going to be chairing for the very wonderful Ricky Whitemore, all the way from Newton Abbot, virtually from his house to our church.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Where am I? There I am. Hello.
Really, really lovely to have you here. Again, it just feels like it's been a really long time coming to have you come and serve our church. So embracing the blessing of the lockdown that enables you to come and serve our church. Thank you so much.
You know what? Everything happens when it's meant to, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hello to our colleagues, our brothers and sisters in the spiritual understanding who are watching from Newton Abbot Church. Hello, lovely to have you along if you're watching this evening. Also, if you're watching on catch up and you're not watching this as it unfolds live on Sunday evening, thank you. We're really pleased that you're here. Thank you so much for coming and finding this and watching it on catch up. Okay, what we're going to do this evening is we are going to start our service as we do in what has now become a bit of a custom and tradition for us, to light our candles. And we do this to symbolize for us, give us a real point of focus in our day, to recognize us dropping into a different energy, dropping into the energy of that divine service, that divine coming together, using this as an opportunity to remember all of our friends and family in the churches that we visit and just holding them in the light. So if you'd like to grab your candles, everybody, and then just take a couple of deep breaths and just use that time to connect with your people. Wonderful. Super. Thank you. Lovely, thank you. And as you do that, you just really create that moment, that breathing space in your day, don't you, to drop into that feeling of that prayerful space. So thank you, everyone, for joining in and doing that. While we're in the zone beautifully, Ricky, I'd like to hand over to you for our opening prayer, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just say that I was running a workshop, I don't know, about a year ago now somewhere. And I can remember we blew out the candle after, and oh no, that's it. A lady came up to me, someone in the workshop, and said, "Can I blow the candle out?" And I said, "Yes, of course you can." And I'd never thought about this, but she said every time she blows a candle out, she always asks for peace for the world, because the candle obviously symbols of peace. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing to do. So I've now got one down by my healing book, and every time I blow it out, I do the same there. So it's beautiful, really.
Lovely, thank you.
But yeah, no, absolutely, of course I will do. So close your eyes if you would do, please, and just just take a few deep breaths and just go to that space in your mind, that space where the two worlds meet, and obviously go to your God, however you perceive God to be. There is no right or wrong in this, only what's right for you. Divine Creator, Mother, Father, God, as we come here this evening for our online service, we ask all those on the higher side of life to draw with us. We ask for their love and their inspiration. We ask for their healing. We ask that while we hear the healing energy from the spirit world really encompasses our hearts and minds and souls, it gives us the upliftment that we might need in any way that we might need it. We also ask that it gives us the courage to overcome the obstacles that we've all got at the moment. And we also ask that it goes to anywhere and anyone that needs it, to our loved ones, to anyone affected or any family affected by the current coronavirus, and anything throughout the world that needs our peace at the moment in time. We also ask, of course, that the beautiful healing energy of the spirit world goes to Mother Nature herself, so that as she has had a time of healing recently, so she can continue that healing, to be able to hold humanity, for it to be able to live on this earth and learn the lessons that it needs to learn, whatever it needs to learn them. We ask Divine Spirit that while we're here, We really feel your unconditional love, and we ask that everything done here tonight is done in your name, which is, of course, that name of love. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ricky. And now, while we're in the place, friends, we together will say the Lord's Prayer. It's Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ricky, for a really, really beautiful prayer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And while we continue this energy, friends, we are going to, as Ricky beautifully put, we're going to now, as the power's built, as we lit our candles, we've had the beautiful opening prayer and the Lord's Prayer, as we come together, we're now going to use that energy to send in healing and to allow that healing energy to flow and work where it needs to. So during this time, I'd invite you to allow your eyes to close if you feel moved to do that, as you connect to that place within you, the seat of your soul, the place the light of your spirit resides. And think of all of those people you know and people you may not know who need healing at this time. And I'll say a short prayer for healing, and then we'll have some music played for a short moment for you to send those thoughts out. And then I'll bring you back by saying Amen. So, dear friends, as we're in this healing space, may we desire to be healed and for healing to go out to the world. May what is wounded in ourselves and others be restored to good health. May we be receptive to the ways in which healing needs to happen. May we take good care of ourselves and each other. May we extend compassion to all that hurts within our body and soul. May we be patient with the time that it takes to heal. May we be aware of the wonders of our body, minds, and spirits and their ability to return us to good health. May we be open to receive kindness, care, and compassion to those who wish to give it to us. May we rest peacefully under the sheltering wings of that divine love and trust in the gracious presence. And may we keep hope in our hearts. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. Oh, what a lovely prayer. Thank you so much, Ricky. Really feeling that connectedness today. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, everybody that's joined us this evening. Wonderful to see so many of you online. It's just mind-blowing, and very, very grateful for you joining us here this evening. Hello to Lorraine and Angie, Alana. Hello, Alana. Really pleased you've joined us. The lovely Jamie. Hello, Chrissy. Dawn, Tracy, Eunice. Hello, thank you for joining us, Eunice. Lovely to see you on here. You have to pipe up, Ricky, if these are some of your tribe.
I don't know. I can't see them. I meant to see.
Oh, I'll pick them up. Jennifer, Paula, Pauline, Debbie, Sheila, Jeanette. Oh my goodness, Mary Island, Paula, Cheryl, Linda Marie. Hello, Linda. Got so many people online. Thank you. And I don't say hello to you that it's because we're in the middle of the service. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So Ricky, it's time to hand over to you for your reading that you've chosen for us this evening.
Okay, thank you. So I was given this this book, and I'll still find out which one it is. So I was actually given this book. Now I've given a lot of books, which I have a thing about books, and that is I absolutely love them, but I can't read them without my mind wandering. I wish I could. But this was given to me, and if I've got the right Hazel, this was given to me by someone called Hazel Butterworth. Now, if I'm wrong with the wrong Hazel, because I've known a few Hazels over the years in spiritualist churches, but if I've got the wrong one, then please tell me. But if I'm right with the right one, this was Hazel Butterworth, who ran Hillsborough Spiritualist Church in Plymouth for nearly 40 years. And she now lives in Bournemouth. And I bump into her whenever I'm at Bath Road Church. So these are actually channelings from her guide called Lamplighter, and this book's called the Lamplighter Readings, and some of this is absolutely beautiful. So this reading was actually channeled on the 23rd of August 1981, and it's called Sympathy of the Earth. Okay. The sympathy of the earth, beloved, is all beauty. The sounds of all nature created by the divine source blend, each one together in sweet endless harmony. The soft plop of rain dripping from leaves having refreshed and purified them. The roar of the ocean, mighty and exhilarating, carrying healing in its waters, loving and caring for those creatures of creation whose home is in the sea. The cry of the birds, each one different, each one blending with its surroundings in the perfection of the divine plan. The skylark for the meadow, the seagull for the sea, the eagle majestically gracing the presence of the highest reaches of the earth, each one carefully chosen, each one perfect and in complete harmony. The soft hum of the insect world, all busily leading their own lives, performing their own task without hesitation, without question, knowing instinctively that all is well in the divine plan. The soft ripple of the river and stream, lazily making its way through the paths chosen for it. There is no hurry, time does not exist for the river, its heart sings to the tune of eternal life. The soft breezes caressing all in their path, breathing a blessing on all. The mighty winds that sweep away all that is in their path and make way for the new and the rebirth of things to come. The sounds of the earth itself, your beloved planet, the rumble of readjustment, the fiery spewing forth of molten rock that in the evolution of time itself is made into new forms. The soft chatter of the animal kingdom, the roar of the hunters, the soft scufflings of creatures whose lives evolve in the darkness of night. The cry of birds of prey, the creakings of all plants who stretch their limbs out into the cool darkness of the earth, their home. The symphony of the earth is perfect, decay and renewal in perfect unison, and as these sounds reach out to the divine source, then back comes the blessings, all is well. But man, what of man? No longer does he fish the oceans for food. Greed has overcome and man is the destroyer. In his haste he uses his divine gift to destroy, and in his haste to overcome his brother, he creates machines. The earth, the oceans, and the very air he breathes, he condemns to ashes of destruction. He does not pause in his flight to consider his actions. Destruction is the key word. And I say to you that warnings will be given in many forms, and man will reap a bitter harvest for himself and all those who inhabit your planet if he does not take heed. And yet the sweet symphony of the earth continues and will continue, for its creator is all powerful and will pour out more and more of his spirit power of love, healing and renewal. For so great is the love and the compassion that it cannot be overcome or ever understood by the mere effigy of man. Ah, yes, great is the symphony of earth, little one. Be at one with it, breathe it, perceive it, feel it. For in awareness comes understanding, and with understanding comes renewal and service. This is the message to man beloved. Love and be loved, give and receive, and bow the head in humility to the divine source, whose only thought is for the well-being of his creation. And so, beloved, I am the lamplighter. Bid you live with his sweet harmony and become as one with he who is divine. For the destiny of man is known only to the master planner, the giver of all life, whose vibrant chords create the symphony of the earth. Thank you.
Thank you for that. What an inspired choice, Ricky. My goodness. And what a gift the lamplighter is as
Absolutely.
a guide. Wow.
Absolutely. It's I mean it's quite a big book, and I was just quickly going through it today, and I must admit there are some 260 pages, and it's all just like that. It's amazing stuff, really.
Such wisdom we need to listen to. Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you. Jamie's loving that reading. Yeah, really, really enjoying that. I think a lot of people that I felt that very much. Thank you. So it's over to you, Ricky. The rest of the time that we have is yours for you to use as you wish. What are your thoughts? What do you want to bring to the evening?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, as with always, when we get to this part of the service, and I normally think, oh no, what we're going to talk about. So I'll leave it, put it up to them and see what comes out, and keep my fingers crossed. I actually think that reading is actually, at this moment in time, is actually quite apt, because we all know that the planet itself has been through quite a difficult period, and as humanity, we are at this moment in time having to learn some, let's face it, some rather difficult lessons. I spoke to an old school friend of mine who's in New Zealand at the moment, and they're planning to come back because the children are still in the UK. And of course, for whatever reason, they've not been able to come back. And knowing her like I did from school, she's absolutely missing her daughters to the point where it physically hurts every single day. And I know lots of other people as well. I mean, I've only seen my daughters once, and since the lockdown, and that was extremely briefly. And so I know these are extremely difficult times at the moment, and it's times where we are having to look at ourselves and look at everything around us. And at these times, we often question things and question ourselves. And we're all on a journey. And this journey of life, let's face it, it's not easy. And as we start to walk our spiritual pathways, and I'm a great believer that we are all on an individual pathway. And so there is no right or wrong in this pathway, only what is right for you. And so we all learn lessons depending on what's going along. And what I love about this is that we can all learn from each other. That's what I love about our movement. It's fabulous like that I can learn as much from someone that types something into the box in a minute, and I could read that and I can just think, wow, I'd never thought about that. And they might only have just clicked on and for the first time ever, etc. It's amazing. So we can all learn from each other. And at the moment, this is, I think, what we're doing. We're all learning our lessons at the moment, and we're all having to learn some tough lessons. But you know what? I always find that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a rainbow after every storm. And at times like this, there is an ending in sight. When I look back to historically, and I've done some historical research into previous pandemics or plagues or whatever over the years, and the thing is, they all end, and life returns to normal, or normal, the new normal, shall we say. We have to, at this time, we have to try and look at the positives of what we're learning. I mean, we've seen some fantastic photographs of the fish in the rivers of Venice, dolphins returning to areas of the world that they've never been. Just where I am here now around Tor Bay, to be able to walk down to the beach, I can actually breathe in fresh air and not loads of fumes. So Mother Nature herself, the planet is healing. I also read something recently about the ozone level and how the ozone layer at the moment is healing itself and how it seems to be repairing itself. And that great big hole that was over the, I can't remember if it was the North or the South Pole, but that seems to be repairing itself now. So from a planet point of view, there's a lot of good come out of this. But also as human beings, these are the times when we can really test ourselves, and we do test ourselves to see how we can come out of it. And since I've been doing mediumship and etc., and it started for me when I was a young boy, because my grandfather was a trance healer, and I used to watch him go into trance and give people healing from about the age of 5 or 6, which, you know, it was one of those things for me. I didn't think too much of it. But thinking back, people probably, if I had anyone from school, they would have thought, this weirdo. But the thing is, since I've been in it, what amazes me, and what amazes me about where I go and visit people in it, visit churches or centres or wherever, and it doesn't matter whether I work with home or abroad, what amazes me is human beings, people. And I have met in this time, it's a privilege, and I always say, and I've probably got this the wrong way around and apologise, but I always say, look, I'm not here to serve spirit, I'm actually here to serve the people on the earth. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, our guides and our helpers, they're all there, they're for us, etc. But at the end of the day, they want what's best for us. And I've met some astonishing people that have left me, I want to say sometimes gobsmacked, speechless, even in tears. I will say I have met a woman in Jersey who told me about her beginnings during the Second World War under German occupation in Jersey, how she was hiding with her mother for 4 years, not from the Nazis, but from her father, who was trying to kill her. And the reason why he was trying to do that, it turned out he had mental health problems. But this lady had such an amazing story to get to the point where she met her husband, her second husband. First husband took his own life. Second husband was a spiritual healer. And he took her on her journey to become a spiritual healer. Now, sadly, he ended up passing with dementia, and she's now been on her own for several years. She's now obviously in her 80s, probably a little bit older than that. Or I will say she looks fantastic. I will say that. But her story is one of overcoming such amazing obstacles just so that she can live her life, just so that she can be on this planet. And do you know what? That as she was talking to me, and now I see her every time I go, and we always meet up for a cup of tea. And do you know what? She laughs. All she does is she laughs and she laughs and she laughs, and she brushes it off like it's just nothing. Now, if I told you the full story, her full story, I would be here for a couple of hours telling it, and you'd be shocked at some of the things that she's witnessed. But she's overcome these hurdles, and now in her later in life, she's still got this. She's got the zest of life of a young girl. That's all I can. That's really all I can put it. Last time we went, we met in this cafe and we were chatting for an hour and a half or something like that. And then she said it's time to go, and she picked up these 2 huge, great big shopping bags. I mean, massive, great big shopping bags, and walked off to the bus stop. And I said, "Hang on a minute, I'll take your bags. I'll walk you to the bus stop." And she just looked at me and she just went, "I'm old, dear. I'm not disabled. See you next year." Well, there won't be a next year now, obviously, because of what's going on. But I meet so many people like that. And I think as human beings, we are our own worst enemy. you know, let's be honest, we are. We look at the mirror and we look at ourselves. You know, how often do we look in the mirror and think of ourselves and think, you know what a good looking chap you are, what a good looking woman I am, you are, sorry. You know, aren't I marvelous, aren't I wonderful? Now we look at someone else and say that, we look at our relatives and say, you're looking beautiful before, you're looking beautiful. But I think we need to actually at times look at ourselves and just appreciate who we are. Because, you know, as human beings, we've done some remarkable things in our life. Every human being I meet, everyone that I meet on my travels, have all overcome such obstacles. And I can remember once, just after, I think going back to about 2004 now, it must be 2004. A very good friend of mine had just lost his daughter to cancer, and he rang me up, and we were chatting away. And he said to me, and he said, "You all right?" He said, "You don't sound yourself." And I said, "Oh, do you know what?" I said, I haven't managed to hit sales figures this week. I've got a meeting with the board of shareholders, etc. at the weekend. I haven't hit my target. I haven't done this. I haven't done that." And then I looked. I thought, "Oh God, what am I talking about? You know, you've just lost your daughter. What am I moaning about sales figures for?" And he said something to me that stuck to me to date, from that day to this. And he said, "One man's mountain is another man's molehill. Don't ever underestimate what you're going through." And I've taken that on board now. And that to me means an awful lot, because, you know, we must never ever look at people. It's a bit like you go to Sainsbury's or Lidl's or wherever you shop. You go up to the counter, you get served by the girl, and you smile to her, "Hello, how are you?" And she just looks and goes, "Good." Now you might think, you know, as we all do at times, miserable devil, but you know, we don't know what's gone on in that person's life, or what they're going through at this moment in time. You know, they could have just found out some devastating news. They could have had an illness. You know, my youngest daughter suffers with endometriosis. So on the outside of it, she looks like a perfect normal human being. On the inside, you know, she's got you know what I mean, an illness. You know, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, all these things. You know, we look at the people from the outside, they look perfectly fit, healthy, normal human beings. But, you know, they've got these illnesses. So we must never, ever judge people. Try not to judge people. I find now that the best way to do it, and with any confrontation or anything like that, do you know what? I just walk away, let them get on with it. Simple as that. It's the best form. What's that saying? The strong one is the one that walks away. I can always remember one of my grandparents telling me that. I can't remember which one, but it's true. So the thing is, don't underestimate how you're feeling at the moment. I find it's quite good at times when I'm feeling, you know, let's face it, with human beings, sometimes we all feel good, we all feel down at times. When I'm feeling down, I write it down. I get it out of here, get it out of my head. I write it down on a book. Now, although I live by the coast, I'm here by circumstance, and I prefer to be back up on Dartmoor where I grew up. That's my plan, to get back there, sat by a river somewhere, cross-legged, hugging a tree. So I would like to do. But what I like to do is I write out the book, chuck it up, and I chuck it in the river, and I just watch it float off down there. You know, that to me is my way of release. Sometimes you could burn the page, you can do whatever, as long as you get it out of your head and get it onto there. Every new day gives us the opportunity of a new beginning. And that's really important, but we don't have to wait to the next day. We can have a new beginning every single minute of every single day. There's an opportunity of a new beginning, an opportunity of us to do whatever we want to do. There was a motivational speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he talks about how he was born in Austria right at the end of the Second World War, the depression that the country had gone through, and how he knew he had to get away, and how he actually eventually got to the States. It's quite an inspiring talk, actually. He's quite an inspirational man, and how he gives back and what he's done to set up all these different charities, etc., etc. But the one thing is, we are never too old to start again. That's the thing. Doesn't matter how old you are. One thing that the lady from Jersey taught me, who's in her 80s, she's constantly trying new things. She's constantly going new places. She's constantly telling her carer she'll do what she wants. She goes where she wants to go. Now, I appreciate Jersey's a small rock and you can't go that far without falling off the edge. But hey, you know. But the truth is, it is a new beginning. And the thing is, when we are at that stage where, you know, we're on our own. I mean, I've been on my own for several years now, and I will say there are times I get a little bit lonely, because I do. You know, I'm only human, especially now being locked up for, 2 months or so. But at that times, these are the times when I know Spirit is there.
Yeah.
And what I do at these times is I've got in the habit of asking a question and just throwing it out to Spirit. Leaving it with them, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. I've got a project I'm working on at the moment, and I asked him a question, put it out, opened up Instagram, and there was a photograph of my answer on it straight away. Now, it doesn't happen like that all the time. Sometimes it might take a day, a week, or a month. I'm a great believer that we are where we're meant to be. Now, that doesn't mean to say we shouldn't try new things, because if we try and it doesn't happen, I'm not going to say the word failure, because I don't believe in failure. I believe if you try, you don't fail. It just means to say that things don't happen at that moment in time. You haven't failed if you've tried and it hasn't worked out. You've only failed if you haven't tried. That's the way I see it anyway. So our Spirit put the thought out, and, you know, let them earn their beans at the moment, because they need to be. Now, we were doing a trance session once, and I can remember speaking to I can't remember who was doing the mediumship at that time. But I remember asking him and speaking about to the spirit guides, and you know, at that time thinking that they knew it all. And he came back to me and he said, look, at the end of the day, we are what we are. We are guides and helpers. We don't have all the answers. You know, you are there. We are here on the earth to find our own answers. And, you know, let's face it, when we've done things in our life where we've wanted to ask, but we've not been able to get the help that we need, and we go and do it ourselves, you know, how great do we feel? You know, if any of us have got to put up IKEA furniture, you know, especially on our own, how great do we feel afterwards? I mean, at our church, we had 4 of us putting up a glass cabinet. Said it'd only take one person 15 minutes. Took 4 of us 2 hours. But the thing is, how great do you feel? The other thing that they were keen to say, and this made me think, and it makes me think today when I think about it, is that, you know, we have a gatekeeper, a doorkeeper, however you perceive it to be, him or her to be. And they are with us from birth right the way through to our crossing over to the higher life. And they're with us all the time. But a lot of people, a lot of spirit guides that we have will come and go as we're going through specific things within our life. So I will always say, at moments and times where I need help with something, talking hypothetically, can someone from the spirit world with expertise on finance please come and help me? I need to get over this problem. So I always say it like that, so that we are hopefully getting the right people. And they said to me at one point, they said, look, there's nothing to say that us on the earth at this moment aren't actually more evolved than our spirit guides and our spirit team and our spirit helpers in the grand scheme of things. However, they are the right people to be with us at this moment in time. And that did make me think, actually, because it made me think, well, yeah, you know, why are we here? Why have we come to this movement? You know, to me, it doesn't matter whether you're a spiritist, a spiritualist, Christian spirit. None of it matters. At the end of the day, we're all the same thing. You know, there is one God, and we've all got the same God. He said everyone that comes into this movement is training for the next generation of guides and helpers when we go back to the spirit work.
Mm.
So that's not just the mediums, that's not just the healers, who to me, the healers are the real heroes in our movement. To me, the healing, it's the foundation of our movement. All a medium does is bring people through the door so that the healers can do the real work. That's the way I see it anyway. That's the way we run Newton Abbot, etc. But yeah, so everyone I know in spiritualism has had a different pathway and a difficult pathway. And going round, some of the people that I meet have overcome some things, as I said earlier on, that just leave me speechless. Or, you know, at times I've had the odd tear with people when I've listened to their stories, etc. But they're here.
Mm.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They are still here. They're still fighting. They are getting on with life.
Mm.
To me, that makes each and every single one of you winners. And you can sit there and say, nah, not me, not me. That's the other thing I find, actually, is that most of the congregations in churches I come to are normally, most of them, very humble and very caring people, very sensitive people as well. Because the more we develop spiritually, the more we come to our spiritualist churches and centres, the more sensitive we become. And the more sensitive we become, sometimes the harder life is.
Yeah.
You know, because we struggle with things. I used to love that film, Saving Private Ryan, with Tom Hanks in, marvelous film. But if it comes on now, I can't watch that beach scene on there. Sat there like this. Is it over yet? Is it finished? I can't watch it because I've become so sensitive. And we do get sensitive, and things hurt us now that didn't hurt, that wouldn't have hurt us maybe a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You know, we might have rung someone that we love, we haven't got hold of them, we've left a message and they haven't rung us back. You know, silly things like that can make us worry. It could even be that they've just not thought about it, they've forgotten about it. It could be that they've got something going on and not been able to get back to us. You know, it's a bit like when you send a message on Messenger. These days you can tell people's read it, and if they don't reply within 2 minutes, you're like, why aren't they replying? You know, and it's worse because we're more sensitive. So what we have to do is to accept that sensitivity of who we are, and it is that sensitivity that makes us just that little bit different and that little bit special. And I don't think at this moment in time I wouldn't change that sensitivity within me personally. Nothing to do with the mediumship and nothing to do with anything like that. The reason why I wouldn't change it is because I appreciate things, simple things that I never appreciated anymore. You know, years ago, I appreciate the walk on a field in bare feet. You know, the feeling of your feet on the grass or on the sand on the beach. The other day, something happened. I can't remember now. That was this helicopter going over. But I woke up just before sunrise, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I watched the sunrise come up. Now it wasn't the most spectacular sunrise, but it was a beautiful sunrise. And I remember thinking, today's going to be a fabulous day. And it was. It was a great day. Nothing specifically happened. Nothing. I didn't win the lottery. I didn't get anything like that. You know. Nothing that I can honestly say, wow, what a day. It was just a fantastic day for simple reasons. And that's what spiritualism does. It helps us to really to appreciate the simple things in life. It's the simple things that make things happen, make it worthwhile. Now, I will just say this as well. When we work with the right intent, and I'm a great believer that some of the best mediums I've ever met don't even know they're mediums. Some of the best mediums I've ever met would never consider standing on a platform, would never consider doing anything like this because it's too terrifying for them, because they've got no ego. When you work from the heart with love and compassion, I know life gets difficult, but I will say Spirit will never let us down. And when you need them the most, they're there. Now, I had the virus myself and I got quite ill with it, and I was ill with it for a number of weeks, and I'm still not 100% over it now. But I was at home and I got to the point where when I was really bad, I had no food left in the house, literally. And I thought, because, you know, typical man, I leave everything for the last minute. And literally, I'd run out of food that night. And I thought, what am I going to do tomorrow? I can't go out because I can't breathe, etc. What am I going to do? So I put the thought out, you know, you're going to have to help me here because I need help at this moment in time. Went to bed. That was it. At 7:30 the next morning, the doorbell rang, and I went downstairs. And in my neighbours downstairs, what they'd done is she works at a place called Riverford Organics, and what she'd done is she brought back a box of fresh fruit and veg and left it at my door for me there. Now you could say that's a coincidence, but you know, the day I've run out of food, the following morning, there it is, fresh fruit and veg. Now I had a thing of rice, and that was it. It was great for about a week. Then I was in the element. But the thing is, Spirit don't ever let us down. And I can think time and time again over the years where I've really needed something, where I've needed money for whatever, because my car's needed the MOT done. And I haven't got any savings in the bank or anything, and all of a sudden something will happen and the money will turn up. With me, it's never quite what I need. I'm always about a 10 or 15 pounds short, and I'm like, all right, okay, fair enough. It's almost like the same, well, we'll give you the most of it and you've got to make the rest up. Lazy devil. Well, I am a bit lazy at times. But the thing is, Spirit don't ever let us down. That's the thing. And I know it's really hard for me to sit here and say to you, try not to worry about the present circumstance. Try not to worry about whatever's going on in your life at the moment. Work out the way it's meant to. And, you know, I believe everything works out for the best. It's easy for me to say that. But, of course, being sensitive, we're going to worry even more. And at times, we just have to say, you know what? This is part of me. It's part of who I am. And I'm just going to let the rest of it go and see what happens. And I will just say this as well, just this one quick thing, because this is a thing that actually happened, and I use it in a meditation when I'm teaching meditation. It's absolutely fantastic. So about 5 years ago, I was taking someone down to Dartmouth. They were on a training course, and I used to take them down every Tuesday, and they would be there every Tuesday for 3 hours over lunchtime, between 5 and 3. And so I had a lot going on at the moment. I didn't have really time to take her, but I took her anyway. And I was a bit worried about everything that was going on at the moment. So I walked down. For those of you that know Dartmouth or don't know Dartmouth, right the way through Dartmouth, there's just this huge, great big river. It's such a pretty little town. It really is beautiful. They're absolutely fantastic. So I'm down there, I bought a bag of chips, and I'm standing there eating my chips. As you do, you know, chips got us through 2 world wars, don't forget. So I'm there eating my chips, and a seagull come down as it did, aimed for me, and I dropped my chips in the water. And as I looked down, there was a boat, and this boat had these big words on it, and it just said, "Why worry?" And at that moment, and it was a beautiful spring day, full sun, the chap walked down the stairs, got in that boat, started the boat up, turned it around, and as it was sailing off into the sun, there was a huge, great big sign at the back that was just called "Why Worry?" Sailing off down the dark. Now, it was one of those things you had to be there to appreciate it. But whenever I'm feeling a bit low, I suddenly get that image of that boat saying, "Why worry?" So I use it in a lot of the meditations that I do as a way of clearing people's minds, to enable them to get them in the right place, to be able to start meditating, to be able to get things out. And I say, look, if you're ever concerned about anything, imagine this boat on a river. Imagine yourself stood there by this boat. Imagine it being a beautiful summer's day or beautiful sunny day or whatever the weather you like the best. Imagine yourself there, and just imagine yourself putting all your worries and all your stress and all your strain, and just put it all in that boat. You know, anyone in there that's causing you problems, your next door neighbours, if they're causing problems, whatever, chuck it all in that boat. Fill it up, put it in there, keep putting it in, putting it in, putting it in, until you can go, it's all in.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, untie it from its mooring and just let it drift off down that river into the sun. And let spirit do with it what needs to be done. And I find it's a worthwhile exercise, because as long as we can go, we can start to move forward and find a solution for what's ever going on.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you so much. Do you know what? You covered so much there, and that lovely meditation at the end that so many people, Paula, Anne, Scarlett, Jackie, Jamie, Janine, they loved the meditation. It's given someone some real positive things to go away and actually focus upon. And it's really interesting that you spoke about being in the moment, being in the now, and enables you to process things objectively, as opposed to being swept along by your own feelings. Really powerful stuff. I was with my interfaith friends today, and we were doing a ceremony about that, about just releasing our value and our attachment to things.
Absolutely.
The emotion behind it, and releasing it, and just accepting where you are right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I find it the hardest thing ever, because you know, I will admit, I spend a lot of time looking back at my past and things that have happened and living in the past. At times I've done it, and I also think, you know, I'm in Paignton by circumstance, but I want to be back out in Bubby Tracy, and I can't afford to move out there yet. I know it will happen. Again, I've put the thought out to spirit, get me out to Bubby Tracy. It'll happen whenever it's meant to happen. So I spent my time living in the future. But the important thing is right here, right now. And for me to get out to Bubby, I've got to start making the steps to get out there, however that might be. And we've got to realise that. So, you know, this moment, this time, this second, now, this is the important time in our lives. It really is.
Thank you, Ricky. Very uplifting. And do you know what? I think the feeling feels like people are ready to take a breath and step forward now. They're ready to take a breath and step forward into that. So thank you.
I think so.
And yes, I must just say, I'm really glad you mentioned it. For anyone that doesn't know Ricky well, or hasn't checked out his Facebook page, or doesn't know anything about him, he has been really, really poorly well. So I'm just really so grateful that you're fit and well enough to come and take this beautiful service for us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
So lovely to have you here. And thank you to everybody that's come and joined us. Some people from Scotland, Weymouth, all over the place. We've had lots and lots of people on. So yeah, I can't thank you enough for coming and joining us. And I really, really hope that some of the things that Ricky's brought up and mentioned today have dropped little droplets of gold into you that you can say, oh, I really like that. You can go back and listen to the service at any point on our church Facebook page. It's saved there. If you missed it live or you're just joining, you can go back and watch it from the beginning and hear all of that, and especially listen to that lovely meditation image at the end that Ricky was speaking about. The boat was lovely. Thank you, Ricky. We literally could keep you online for hours yet, but we've run out of time. But thank you so much. It's really over to you to close our service with a closing prayer. And if I may, could we all blow out our candles together? I really love that image of just sending that positivity, that energy we've created in this moment, and sending it out. And sending it out to the world to go wherever it's needed. And if you know somebody who would really benefit from having that heart-to-heart connection, send it to them. Okay. So we'll have your closing prayer, and then we'll all blow out our candle together. Thank you, Ricky.
And I will just say this before I close in prayer is don't get everything on this earth, on this planet, is in tandem as it is at the moment. You know, everything is put on this earth for a reason, whether it's the human being, whether it's an animal, whether it's an elephant or an ant. Everything is here to keep the sort of the earth in balance for the reasons that we are here. Each and every single one of you listening today, and not just you, but everyone in this planet has got an important part to play on this planet, make it what it is. We might not be able to change the world, But what we can do with Spirit's help is we can change the world within. You know, it's a bit like that thing, isn't it? Throw a stone in a pond and let the ripples go out. And that's all we can do. So be a little bit selfish sometimes, not selfish at the point of other people, but be selfish in the point that, you know, you might consider yourself like one human being in a million. But you think about Bournemouth Beach. Bournemouth Beach is a very attractive, it's a beautiful beach. I love Bournemouth Beach. You know, it's miles of beautiful sand made up of billions and billions of tiny little grains of sand. Now, every single one of those little grains of sand is an important piece of that beach, because every time you take away a grain of sand, that beach slowly disappears.
Yeah.
Now, if you think of yourself in the grand schemes of the human race at the moment and of the world and of where we are at this moment in time in the evolution of humanity, think of yourself as a part to play. And if you weren't on this planet at this moment, you know, the light of the world will be like our candles. You know, when we blow this out, things will shine just that little bit or will dim that little bit. So you're an important person on this planet at this moment in time. So don't ever underestimate yourself. And apologies for that. I can talk, as you know. So I'll close in prayer now.
It's the power of the Spirit coming in, Ricky. They're ready to get cracking. They're ready to carry on working.
Yeah, they are. I'm tired now. I've had enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
All right, close your eyes if you would, please, and just go to that space within your mind. It is a space for the two worlds meet. It is that space in the mind where only you can go. No one can enter this space unless you invite them. It's that space where you can feel the solitude, the peace, the love of the spirit world, but hopefully the love for yourself and appreciate the person that you are. And I want to say, as I can see it in my corner, but the light that you are. Divine Spirit, Mother, Father, God, as our service comes to a close, we thank those on the higher side of life that have drawn with us tonight. We thank all those that have listened to us, and we thank Ashley for putting tonight on and the other nights that she does on behalf of the church. We ask that the committee of the church be kept safe and sound so that they may continue to open the doors for us for when we need them. Realising that the church, any church, is there as and when we need it for our own healing and our own benefit. Knowing that we have the tools that we need in our toolbox to overcome anything that we have going on at the moment, that we have the strength that we need to overcome any hurdles that we've got, to enable us to go out into the world to make a difference for ourselves first, and then make a difference for our loved ones. And hoping that as we cast that stone into the pond, the ripple effect can actually go out into the world, so that at some point, at some place, the world might find that peace, the world peace that we need. Knowing that all humans, no matter what race, religion, sexuality and creed, are all equal. We are one, and we are part of that great spirit that we call God. We ask that he protects us, loves us, holds us, nourishes us, and helps us to overcome the things that we need to overcome. We ask that healing be sent to the whole world, the whole planet, to the places that needs it the most, the starving, the hungry, the war-torn. But we also ask that at this time, we continue to feel your love, that it really envelops our hearts and souls and minds, and enables us to just feel that little bit of divine peace and serenity when we need it the most. Amen.
Amen. Amen. How wonderful. Thank you so much, Ricky. We're going to blow our candles out. So as Ricky quite beautifully said, we're all sending the ripples out. So I'm just going to blow my candle out. Thank you so much. Oh, wonderful. What a lovely service. Thank you so much, Ricky, for coming and
thank you for having me.
Working such a lovely service. Thank you, everybody who has joined us this evening. So many people feeling inspiring. Sheila has found it so inspiring. Anne, she's more determined to go on practicing her mediumship. Yes, Anne, keep on.
Good for you, Anne. Why not?
Spirit workers are needed now more than ever. We're needed now more of us. So thank you so much. Our medium next week. Yes, our medium next week. Very exciting announcement. We have all the way from Fort Lauderdale. We have Reverend Kevin Lee coming. He's in the house, the Texan Reverend Kevin Lee. So do tune in for that next Sunday, 6:15 till 7. That's UK time. So it's going to be a bit of a time shift for him to get accustomed to. But we've got Kevin Lee. He's very graciously said he'll come and do a divine service for us on Sunday. So please do tune in for that and join us on Sunday at 6:15 on our Facebook page. Thank you, everybody that's liked this page, shared this page, who likes what we're about. Give us a thumbs up or a like, and we will see you next Sunday.
Have a fabulous week.
Have a lovely week, everybody. Thank you so much, Ricky.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hang on, where are we getting? There we are. Bye-bye.